llamo Roberto Diego Martínez. Yo tengo 20 años. Mi familia es mucho grande y tengo 10 miembros de familia. I am a poor indigenous farmer of El Salvador. I feed my family. I live on a very small farm. We're forced with very little land and very infertile soil, where we cook our food, make our food, and live by selling our very few crops. Living on the farm was a horrible life, a life that I never chose. I had to work from morning till darkness, and each day I had pains in my back, sores on my fingers, calluses on my feet. Even though I worked 16-hour shifts, all I earned was a piece of bread that lasted my family for weeks, and just a few change for every month to feed 10 mouths in our family. It angered me that I could do nothing more, nor nothing less. It made me angry that the few select landowners that own all the land in our country and made us suffer. While we worked every day, they sat in their homes. Homes that they had, where we lived in little shacks of a building with 2 other families. The next day, as I stressed over our next meal, I saw a light coming from the heavens, as the messenger of God descended from the heavens and came down to me. And I would never forget those words that he had said. The angel had told me that God was with me, that I didn't have to go through this repression any longer. He gave me strength, He gave me wisdom, He gave me courage. And as all the anger builded up within me, I used that anger to start a protest army. As I built an army and protested against the landowners that had taken over our lands. And I knew that I could make a change. Down with the government! Down with the death squad! Go long live the farmers!
Stop! Face! Long live the death squad!
Me llamo Jorge Juan Justo y soy de El Salvador. Yo tengo 26 años y soy de Escuadrón de la Muerte. The best thing we ever did was to kill Archbishop Oscar Romero. The death squad is part of the government. We must fight the left-wing peasants and kill and destroy them all. They all believe in the liberation theology, which is what Archbishop Romero was speaking to them about and the reason why we had to kill him. He believed that that was good for the country. But the government did not believe so we killed him. Death squads we are liberating people, and the church is not. One day, after we murdered a village, I stood over the dead body of a child, and I wondered if what I was doing was the right thing. But at that moment, the body began to change and began to glow intensely, and I had to look away. When I looked back, it had become, when I looked back, the body had been replaced by a skeleton of a woman. Who stared at me and smiled. She was dressed in brilliant white clothing, and she held out her hand to me and smiled and said, "I will always love you no matter what you do." And And at that moment, I knew what I was doing was the right thing. La Santa Muerte is my savior now. I am a proud member of the Death Squad. Now continue to carry out justice in the name of La Santa Muerte and death. Her fiery passion burns within all our hearts, and we will carry out justice in the country of El Salvador until the day we die.
Como una promesa eres tú, como una mañana de verano.